Anne Moulds is a stalking victim and has relentlessly campaigned for change and for things to be made better for stalking victims, not only in her home country of Scotland, but all over the UK and indeed all over the world. Anne, thanks very much for joining us. Could you just talk me through a little bit of what happened to you?
My experience started in 2004. The man who stalked me remained anonymous for over 2 years before eventually being caught and charged. His mode of contact was through sexually explicit, sexually deviant and pseudo-violently masochistic letters, silent phone calls, items of women's lingerie, disturbing photographs to let him see that he was wearing my things. He believed that we belonged together forever.
And what did you do about it?
Initially, I threw away the first 2 pieces of evidence thinking that it was a sick joke and who on earth would send that type of thing to me. I didn't know anybody in my social set that could even possibly behave like that. But I was so shocked I didn't even want it in my house, so I think a reflex, I threw it away. I couldn't place it anywhere, couldn't place it within anybody. But when the 3rd item came through the door, I took it to the police, who dismissed me.
What was their response?
Basically, put it in a drawer, go home, put it in a drawer and let's see what happens. There was no risk assessment, no psychological profiling. My safety was not considered at any point. This man eventually made a mistake and I found out who his identity was. He was charged. Even after being charged, he continued with his behaviour. He wasn't going to stop. The police, I found out later on that the police had only ever given him a verbal warning, but his behaviour escalated to seriously dangerous levels, and the police still didn't believe me. And it was an outside voice from a support agency who contacted the Procurator Fiscal, alarmed at what was unfolding and the danger levels that I was experiencing. He pleaded guilty a week before the trial. I went to see him being sentenced, thinking that this man would go to jail, and he got 3 years on the sex offenders, 3 years probation and 260 hours community service. The sheriff, during sentencing, said that this man was not, in his opinion, was not a danger to the public, and he walked free from court to continue his life as
when he'd stolen yours.
As normal, and yet he had stolen mine. No one could guarantee that he would obey his court orders, and considering that even after being charged, he still kept stalking me. My only option, and I was strongly advised by an expert, to relocate, to gain a sense of safety, change my name, change my address, relocate, change my car and make sure nobody knows where I am.
In a wake of that, though, you felt strongly enough to start campaigning for radical changes in Scotland, which you were extremely successful at. Can you just talk me through what happened next?
Because I recognised that in Scotland stalking wasn't a crime. It wasn't even recognised as a criminal offence. Most cases being prosecuted as a form of harassment under breach of the peace. I also realised that I was one of many. I'd only trod the path that so many had trod before me, and that something had to change. This could not be allowed to happen to innocent people. So I launched Campaign Action Scotland Against Stalking in March 2009. I spoke out publicly. I waived my right to anonymity. I held a massive seminar. Police from all over Scotland attended, and for the first time I spoke out about my experience and the systems that failed me.
And that ultimately resulted in the first anti-stalking laws in Scotland being introduced in June of this year.
June of this year, that's right.
What would your message be to other stalking victims?
That you are not alone. There are many people suffering in silence. Trust your instincts. If you are scared, then that means you are scared. Don't doubt your intuition.